You ever think about this time as a great turning? We have so much to be almost really in despair about. But we have so much to be really excited about. I mean, it's incredible what's happening in developments in science, in the wider world. I mean, within a month's time, if it goes well, the James Webb telescope is going to be deployed, and I mean, we're going to be able to see images back from 13 billion years ago. I mean, what an exciting time to be alive. Wow. And at the same time, we see our country torn apart by polarization, born of politics and greed and demagoguery. And we stand in the middle of all that, trying to figure out how to stand and breach, how to build a bridge, how to be a bridge, how to be a light. I remember Eleanor Roosevelt's quotation about that. For the one who would be a light, we must endure the burning. It's going to cost us to be prophetic and to be courageous and to stand up for love in a time of hate. But we can do it. We have a great cloud of witnesses who have gone before us, lighting the way. We have a whole team of people working throughout this country today, bringing hope out of despair, bringing love out of hatred, bringing compassion out of indifference. And we're part of that. We're part of that. And I'm really, really grateful for that. And so today I want to look at the theme of Thanksgiving. You know, I remember when I was a kid, in second grade I think it was, my favorite joke became, and it must have been really good because it has stuck with me all this time. If April showers bring May flowers, what do May flowers bring? Pilgrims.
Oh.
My daughter would say to me, "Gee, Dad, that joke gets funnier every time you tell it." I can remember tracing my fingers on a paper plate, you know, and cutting it out and coloring it to be a turkey. I can remember, you know, school plays and events where we would dress up as pilgrims and some would dress up as Indians, and we'd all sit down and share together. And then on Thanksgiving Day, the families come together to share a feast. And then, of course, the most important part of Thanksgiving Day is football, right? Usually it's the Dallas Cowboys against the then Washington Redskins. From early on in our school systems, in our families, in our churches, we are enculturated with the myth of Thanksgiving. Pilgrims and Puritans sharing a feast in difficult winter. I think about Edward Hicks' Peaceable Kingdom paintings, you know, where you see the lion laying down with the lamb, and you see indigenous people speaking with, these are actually Quakers because he's a Quaker, but you can extrapolate that and become Puritans in your mind's eye. And we dream of that time, don't we? But that's not a time that we've ever had. Over the years, Thanksgiving has become more domesticated. Think of Currier and Ives. You remember them? Those beautiful paintings they did. The lithographs that brought artwork into the homes of regular people. You didn't have to pay a fortune for it. This is home to Thanksgiving. 1867. Look at that. Such a pastoral scene of the animals, out in the snow and the beauties of winter, and people arriving for that Thanksgiving feast. Did you know that Currier was actually a Unitarian? He was a member of the church in Massachusetts until he moved to New York City, where he then became a member of All Souls Unitarian Fellowship there in New York City. So, Scott Alexander is a Unitarian minister who, at the Unitarian Church in Bethesda, Maryland, who has written a little piece inviting us to take a moment to visualize in your mind's eye the first American Thanksgiving feast with our Pilgrim forebears, shared with the Native American neighbors on the shores of the Massachusetts Bay in the fall of 1621. And if you're, as he says, if you're like me, you can imagine a peaceable scene, a greeting card view, informed by those moments in grammar school or high school or whenever it was when well-dressed Indians and Puritans came together to share a meal under an autumnal sky, thanking their respective gods for life's copious blessings and enjoying a carefree day of companionship. Scott says, this is the myth that has grown up around the first Thanksgiving. The reality, however, was far different. Writing in The Atlantic, a woman named Claire Bugos addresses the question, what is the Thanksgiving myth? The myth is that friendly Indians, unidentified by tribe, welcome the pilgrims to America, teach them how to live in this new place, sit down to dinner with them, and then they disappear. They hand off America to white people so they can create a great nation dedicated to liberty, opportunity, and Christianity for the rest of the world to profit. That's the story. It's about Native people conceding to colonialism. Stephen Charleston is someone I follow. He's an Episcopal bishop. He's also an elder of the Choctaw Nation. He writes this, the historical irony is that European Christians coming to the Americas were escaping highly stratified and intolerant societies. In North America, they encountered societies that were open and tolerant. But in response, these European immigrants simply duplicated the oppression they had known by practicing it on the native peoples. Now, I don't want to be Debbie Downer or Danny Downer. What do we make of Thanksgiving today in light of all this? What do we make of Thanksgiving? I'm not going to launch into a campaign for indigenous people's liberation today. I'm going to save that for another time because there's some really important work being done on the doctrine of discovery, and that's a whole session in its own right. So I'm going to file that by title and promise you that we'll get back to that. But what are we going to do with Thanksgiving this year? What does it mean to us? Is it possible that Thanksgiving itself can transcend the historical confinements that it has been in? Thanksgiving has been reinterpreted over the years. First instituted as a national holiday in 1866, President Abraham Lincoln declared Thanksgiving a national holiday, giving thanks specifically for the fact that slavery had been abolished. Thanksgiving gained even more prominence in the aftermath of the great world wars in the 20th century, World War I and II, as families gathered to give thanks for the war's end and for the Allies' victory over Nazism. We have a history of reinterpreting past traditions. And this morning I'd like to invite you to think about Thanksgiving with me as we widen its meaning maybe a little bit further. Let's dispense with the historical inaccuracies and the associated brutality that has been associated with the day. I'd like to propose that the day of Thanksgiving this year be an all-encompassing day of gratitude, both sacred and secular. Maybe this is impossible given its history. Maybe this is impossible given the legacy of colonialism and subjugation. But can we dare declare a day of gratitude, a day of giving thanks? You know, just as the Christian holidays of Easter and Christmas were acts of imbuing earlier holidays, ancient pre-existing holidays, with Christian meaning, can we not also reimagine a Thanksgiving Day that is that transcends the subjugation of native peoples as a part of our country's beginning? Is it our only option that we just give up celebrating Thanksgiving if we want to be people of integrity? I don't really know, and I don't want to be insensitive, but I think we can declare a day free of Pilgrim and Indian myths, to be devoted to an act of gratitude. And maybe our gratitude should begin with the gratitude for the wisdom and kindness of indigenous peoples who helped our ancestors survive. I think every day should be Thanksgiving Day. And giving thanks and giving gratitude, we find something that's really good for us. For example, I'm a forgiveness teacher. I'm going to go back to my forgiveness research. If you spent 5 minutes in gratitude, if we reclaim a day, if we intentionally make a plan for this day and Thanksgiving today to be a day of gratitude, and we spend some time in gratitude, just 5 minutes in gratitude will lower your blood pressure, lower your heart rate, lower your need to perspire. It will give you peace so that you can sleep better at night. And get this, it will enhance your immune system for 4 to 6 hours. 5 minutes. So I propose that we take a break every 4 hours, spend 5 minutes in gratitude, and enhance our immune system for 4 to 6 hours. Because when we are grateful, we have so many more options available to us in the decision making that we do. You know, to the person who is angry, there's not a whole lot of options. To the person who is harboring contempt, you know, there's not a whole lot you can do with that. To the hammer, everything's a nail. But if you realize that life is more than a hammer, that there are other options, that gratitude is equally important in addition to the strife that we feel over, you know, these complications we are living through at the time, then we open up new channels for health and happiness and joy and resilience within each one of us. Gratitude helps us see that not everything is terrible. Yes, there are some terrible things. But gratitude helps us see that not everything is terrible, not all at the same time anyway. Practicing gratitude can keep our hearts open to the tenderness of our daily experiences. And there are so many things we can be grateful for. That's Bishop Stephen Charleston I mentioned, his quotation just now. But I included a picture of something I'm grateful for. And thank you, Marie, for pointing this out earlier. This is on the Parkway. And what a stunning image this is. There are millions of these images online. You can find them. But what I'm proposing is that we decide to take back Thanksgiving, or to recreate Thanksgiving as a gathering of people in a circle in which everybody's included, even those people we disagree with. And there is a sense of fellowship and kindness and compassion that goes beyond our differences. And if we're together with family, focusing on a meal is a wonderful way to share gratitude and to share the beauty of our relationships. According to UCLA's Mindfulness Awareness Research Center, regularly expressing gratitude literally changes the molecular structure of your brain. That's huge. It keeps the gray matter functioning and makes us healthier and happier. So I'm going to invite you right now to take a gratitude spin. Take a deep breath. Find yourself comfortable, and you can put your feet on the floor and feel the grounding and the support that you get from the floor, from the earth. I invite you now to, if you'd like to close your eyes, please feel free. If not, please keep them open. And take some deep breaths. It's one of the things that we do in our forgiveness training is to teach this as a stress management exercise, and deep breathing is a part of it, because the ego is always looking for threats. And the only way the nervous system knows to relax is related to deep breathing and slow breathing. So let's take some deep, slow breaths. And I invite you now to bring into your awareness whatever it is that's troubling you or nagging you or causing you distress right now, if there's something. Continue breathing, deep breathing. And say hello to that distress, and then say goodbye to it. Let it go. And in its place, I invite you, as you continue breathing, to see the face of someone you know beyond any shadow of a doubt who loves you, who's got your back. Could be a parent, a grandparent, alive or dead, doesn't matter. Someone who has had a significant influence in your life. Bring that person's awareness into your mind's eye right now. Feel the warmth around your heart. And silently to yourself say thank you. Take a couple more deep breaths. And when you're ready, please bring your awareness back to our group. And so now, I invite you to share with each other what you're grateful for. What will you be thankful for this year? What are you thankful for? Bob.
I'm thankful that we have this beautiful place of worship.
Yeah.
Even though it may be temporary. And I am very thankful that we have a pastor who can make UU real and help us understand what UU fellowship.
Thank you so much, Bob. I'm grateful for you, for all of you. Anyone else have something you want to share? I'm grateful for this beautiful artwork in here and its whimsical nature, and especially over here, Gene's statue of the rooster. I love that. I have chickens, and I just love that. Yeah, and gosh, look at David's mermaids and stuff, and look at Christine's beautiful flowers over there. And Dave Edgar's whimsical fish on the wall from his studio he calls the Plastiquarium. He makes these out of recycled plastic. And other artists who I don't know, but just beautiful. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for Ellen for filming this. Such a labor of love to take the time to do this so that we can share our services with others. Yes, Evelyn.
Well, what you were saying takes me back. As you were talking, maybe I shouldn't have been going back when you were talking, but it reminds me of when I was in England as a young person, a teenager, and we didn't have Thanksgiving, but we had Harvest Sunday.
Okay. Yeah.
And you were thankful for a good harvest.
Yes.
And everybody would bring some kind of vegetable or fruit, and hanging from the microphone would be a bunch of grapes.
I like that.
And, you know, my mother always gave me a bunch of carrots to bring because they were the cheapest vegetable she could afford. And I'd bring my carrots, and we put them all up front, and then after the service, they would take the fruit and vegetables to people who didn't have anything hardly.
That's beautiful. What a beautiful remembrance.
Spread it out, so it would, that's what I remember. We didn't have any pilgrims or Thanksgiving, but our thankfulness was that we actually had it or could afford to buy something and could share it with people who didn't have anything.
What a beautiful gesture of love.
So that's what I remember. So
Thank you.
while I'm sitting here, I'm visualizing the bunch of grapes hanging.
I like that. Thank you for that. What a great reframe. I mean, maybe that's the answer, you know. We'll call it the harvest celebration of gratitude. I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. Obviously, this holiday has significant meaning for us as a country, and I don't want to short-circuit that, but I don't also want to just accept it without, you know, scrutiny. And so, harvest gathering. I love that. Yes, Nan?
Well,
I love that red beret.
I can't, thank you. I said I might meet Pierre today. And everything.
Yeah.
But you know, we sang Faith of Our Fathers, but I do want to say that I'm very thankful for the faith of our mothers.
Amen.
And I think that's something to think about because they taught us a lot about Thanksgiving from the day we were born.
Yeah.
And it was good to know that they were thankful for us as
Yeah.
little kids. I mean, I think that's very important, even though sometimes we were bad. And so that's that. I just want to remember that because they've come a long way, baby. and I'm hoping that women will still become in a state of leadership, have more leadership throughout our country, and that we can respect that. And if I were younger, I think I'd be trying to run for Congress or something to make some things happen different.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. Thank you.
I'd vote for you.
I'd vote for it too. Yeah, I'm thankful for the leadership of women. And may that leadership grow. Yeah. What else? Yeah.
Yeah. I am thankful for the fact that in January of this year, we lost a maniac and we gained a treaty on the prohibition of nuclear weapons. And so I'm very grateful. And I'm grateful that people have been kind during this pandemic. I think that, I know we here in this area have been very blessed. I want to give thanks for a year without war.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for that. Thank you for your work for 30 years on nuclear prohibition. Yes, Barb.
I have to share one more of those quotes.
Okay. I think you had another one, yeah.
This one is from Finley Peter Dunn. I don't know if you know his writings. I was not familiar, but boy, I'm going to find out some more. He was a journalist, and he wrote in the person of Mr. Dooley. His articles were written under that byline. Thanksgiving. 'Twas founded by the Puritans to give thanks for being preserved from the Indians, and we keep it to give thanks we are preserved from the Puritans.
Let me tell you a delicious irony in response to that. Do you know the first Puritan church there in Plymouth, Massachusetts? It's a UU congregation now. Yeah, that's good. That's good news. Yeah, yeah. It became a Unitarian fellowship, I think, in the early 1800s. Yeah, it's so interesting, isn't it? I found out all kinds of stuff doing research on Unitarians and Thanksgiving. It's really refreshing and interesting. Yeah. What else? Anything else? Well, I have a litany for thanks, and I'd like to share that, and then we'll close, and we'll have some goodies to share. For what shall we give thanks? This is from writer Laura Horton Ludwig. The wheel of the year has turned again. Once more the Thanksgiving season has arrived. How shall we sing our song of gratitude now? For what shall we give thanks? For this moment, for friends near and far, for our breath, for love, for courage and clarity, for strength, for delight, for laughter, for beauty, for the tables round which we gather, for the food we enjoy with friends, seasoned with love and memory, for the sun and moon and stars in the sky, for the trees who have seen so much and still stand proud, stretching themselves to the sky, for the bright voices of children, for the wisdom of the elders, for actions that bless the world, for hard work that makes a difference, for music and art and celebration, for generosity, for compassion, for endurance, for joy, for hope. For all these things, we give our heartfelt thanks. And now I invite you to join with me as we say the words, extinguishing the flame. We extinguish the flame of this chalice. Let us follow the light of truth until we meet again. Usually I invite folks to, if you have any responses, to share them at this time. Any comments or questions or perspectives, any challenges, all are welcome. And we can continue the conversation over coffee in our new machine and some goodies that are bountifully prepared for us.